The sign, hidden in plain sight, Mandela, CERN, and the law of spiritual consent. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, and if you've been following this series, then you already understand that reality doesn't operate on truth. It operates on agreement. In spiritual terms, nothing can happen to you without your consent. This is one of the most overlooked laws of metaphysics, yet it governs everything. Even in deception, consent must be secured. That's why, in systems built on control, disclosure is never absent. It's simply disguised. Today's video is about that principle, and how it reveals itself through something I call the sign, the hidden proof that you were told. The silent admission they're always required to make before rewriting the terms of your reality. It's not about full disclosure. It's about symbolic offering. A brief moment where the truth appears, waiting to be noticed. And if you ignore it, if you laugh it off, if you dismiss it as coincidence, then spiritually, you've accepted it. You've agreed to the new version of the dream. Now let's talk about CERN. Let's talk about a photo that never made headlines, but should have collapsed the illusion overnight. In this image, a CERN scientist stands smiling in front of the facility. In his hands is a sign that reads, Mandela, Band 1. That's not a movie reference. It's not a joke. It's a researcher at the most powerful quantum research center in the world, holding a sign with the exact word that defines the most famous memory glitch of our time. Before the Mandela effect had gone mainstream, before it was meme-worthy, before it was even fully articulated in pop culture. And yet, there it is, at the center of the theory itself. The location that many believe is responsible for timeline manipulation, dimensional crossovers, and the ripple that changed everything in 2012. In that photo, you're looking at the disclosure. You were told, not overtly, not loudly, but clearly enough that the energetic contract was fulfilled. Let's go further. Band 1 isn't just a random phrase. In digital systems, it refers to the foundational frequency layer, often the base signal in a spectrum analysis. So the translation becomes eerily precise. Mandela. Band 1. The first frequency of the shift, the origin of the alteration, and it's being held, casually, in the hands of a man who likely overstands exactly what he's doing. Most people will call that a coincidence, but those people don't understand how these systems work. Because the rule isn't hide it forever. The rule is reveal it once, subtly, and let the public disqualify themselves. The minute you look away, they're clear to proceed. Now hold that thread and follow it into the Sally Field case, one of the most well-known Mandela effects in the world. We all remember the quote, "You like me, you really like me." It's been parodied in films, commercials, TV shows, award speeches. It was more than a line. It was a symbol of public acceptance. But now, the line never existed. According to history, the real quote was awkward, passive, and forgettable. That shift, on its own, is strange. But then you realize that Sally Field's brother, Dr. Richard Field, is a theoretical physicist whose work overlaps directly with the kinds of particle behavior CERN is known for. He's not an actor. He's not a writer. He's part of the exact scientific community that would overstand timeline instability, field distortion, and quantum sequence manipulation. So now the glitch isn't just cultural, it's genetic. One of the most famous reality edits is tied, by family, to a person working in the field, most often blamed for the Mandela effect. That's not coincidence. That's placement. That's a pattern. That's the sign again. You have to understand. In these systems, ritual law always applies. They are bound to a form of karmic loophole, and it says this. You must tell the subject what you're doing, even if they don't understand it. The public must be informed symbolically. In fact, the more hidden it is, the better. Because the deeper the truth is buried, the more powerful your consent becomes when you fail to acknowledge it. That's how hidden consent works. They said it. They showed you. And your inaction validated the system. We see this in politics, where leaders contradict themselves mid-sentence with rehearsed ambiguity. We see it in music, where occult symbols flash through music videos at breakneck speed. We see it in film, where predictive programming masks itself as dystopian fiction. And we see it in science, where a researcher at CERN holds a sign with the word Mandela, and no one notices. That is the loophole. That is the out. That is how they get you to say yes without ever speaking a word. But what happens when you do notice? When you stop laughing at the signs and start asking questions? When the quote doesn't match, the logo doesn't feel right, the geography is wrong, and instead of dismissing it, you remember? That's when the contract begins to break. Awareness is disruption. Once you name the sign, you remove its power. The system can only hold you in illusion as long as you agree not to look. The moment you look and name what you see, you're no longer asleep. You become what they call a conscious variable, someone whose frequency doesn't harmonize with the code. And in a system that depends on mass consensus, even one variable can make a difference. So yes, there was a sign. There always is. It wasn't a warning. It wasn't a clue. It was a declaration. And whether you caught it or not, it was there. At CERN. On the Oscar stage. In the mouth of politicians. In the changing words of your favorite movies. In the logos that suddenly look wrong. In the places that feel off. The signs aren't hidden. They're public. They're published. They're photographed. Because the system doesn't rely on secrecy. It relies on your distraction. It relies on you being too entertained, too skeptical, or too afraid to ask what's actually happening. But not everyone missed it. Some of us saw it, some of us remember, and once you remember, you can't go back. You stop consenting. You stop agreeing. You stop pretending this version of reality was always the way it is. And that's when the spell breaks. Because the only real power they have is your silence. And your silence ends the moment you recognize the sign. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11x published author, and what you just watched was only a taste of what's inside the Truth series, where we go all the way down the rabbit hole. If you're the kind of person who's always asking bigger questions, who knows there's more to this world than what we've been told, then this is your invitation to the series that was built for you. Inside the Truth series, you'll get full access to 6 mind-blowing sub-series designed to wake up your highest intelligence and decode the matrix we live in. 1. Locate the truth. Learn how to actually research, not just what to search, but how to verify, cross-reference, read declassified files, and protect your own mind from weaponized misinformation. This is truth-seeking, decoded. 2. The Mandela effect. Are we shifting timelines? Why do so many people remember a different past? We break down the most bizarre, undeniable examples of reality glitches and what they tell us about consciousness and control. 3. Law is magic. Law is not what you think it is. From word spells to maritime law and hidden contracts, we uncover how legal systems use language like a wand and how to stop being tricked by fine print that binds you without consent. 4. Entertainment or ritual. The Hollywood and music industries are not just for entertainment. From Super Bowl rituals to Grammy stage symbolism, we decode what's really being shown, who it serves, and why mass consciousness is the target. 5. Decoding dystopia. Ever wondered why dystopian fiction feels prophetic? In this subseries, we decode popular films and books, Hunger Games, 1984, Black Mirror, to reveal the hidden blueprints and predictive programming behind the plot. 6. MK Ultra plus mind control programs. This one gets deep. From real MK Ultra documents to modern symbolism in media, we expose how mind control operates in plain sight and how to free yourself from manipulation you didn't even know was happening. And that's just the beginning. If this resonated with you, click the links below and join us inside the Full Truth series, because the more you know, the harder you are to control. This is your awakening. We don't just ask questions, we find answers. Let's go all the way down the rabbit hole together.